all these women today have such a vision of that the world is open and they can create their own thing. And I think this is just phenomenal. And they're not looking to just go, be somebody's assistant and work up the corporate ladder or design ladder or any ladder. They're going to create their own space and their own identity and their own business and their own world.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Almost 30 podcast. So happy you're here.
It is Lindsay Simsick and Krista Williams, and we are
excited.
I feel like that was an exercise where we'd be like, I am. And then we'd have to like show the emotion, which is actually not acting. Anyway.
Yeah. I am enlightened. I am amazing.
We're just so happy to be here.
Yep.
Damn.
We're honored. We're grateful.
As time goes on, like sitting here behind the mic becomes like a different thing because we've met you all.
Mm-hmm. Dude, everyone's so cool.
So cool.
It's crazy. Everyone, like, I'm just like waiting for a weirdo to come out and I haven't seen one.
No.
Like everyone has been so sweet. Everyone has been so supportive of not only us, but more importantly of one another.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing, being on tour and seeing the women connect with one another has been one of the greatest gifts. And
yeah, there's nothing I love more than like sitting down with someone. We're oftentimes standing up, kind of walking around, and like you get to just like have a moment and sit down one-on-one with someone, and like they're sharing, and a lot of the times they're thanking us, but they're also like genuinely asking for advice or just sharing something that they've done. And it's like, there's nothing better.
I know.
I forget how good it feels to just like be one-on-one and connect with someone.
What was the one? It was in New York, and I was like crying at the end talking to her. She had Lyme's disease, and I hate that I can't remember her name because we had such an amazing conversation. Please DM me because I love you. And it was just like, I was like talking to one of my friends that I've known for a long time.
I know.
I felt I was able to be vulnerable. Like it was so cool. And from our event in Boston, Rhonda posted such an amazing, sweet post. I want to read.
Yeah, read it.
Long, passionate post ahead. A few months ago, I discovered a podcast called Almost 30, and I've been beyond obsessed ever since. I learned they were going on tour. When I saw Boston on the roster, I basically died of excitement. Hesitant to go alone, I couldn't miss the opportunity to meet such smart, funny, sassy, and sweet women who fill my soul with so much love, peace, and information that allows me to be my best possible self. The room was filled with 65 beautiful and strong women. It was a safe zone where we shed tears of happiness, fears, and sadness. It felt like I instantly had 64 new best friends. She's really smart with the math.
Wow.
This event touched me in ways I could have never expected, and couldn't thank Krista and Lindsay enough for guiding us and making each and every heart in the room explode with love. Keep spreading your gift, ladies. Thanks, Rhonda.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. Come on. So guys, my mom knows that I quit my job. So that conversation was a little unexpected.
But she didn't know.
She had no idea.
I love that I was listening to the conversation. It was on speaker.
I always put Terry on speaker, dude. Because I can't explain.
You need someone to witness.
I need a witness. We are all witness of Terry.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is Terry, and she is a piece of work. She is a piece of work. I need support.
Yeah.
I need support that I heard what Terry said.
Yep.
That I'm not alone in the Terry.
And I heard it.
You heard it. So Terry called. We're on tour. We were at Boston at the time. We were in Boston. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm so matter of fact. I'm like, I'm in Boston. We're on tour. She's like, oh, I'm surprised you get off that much work. Or like, are you working there anymore? Kind of almost like, being a little shade, throwing a little shade. Like, are you even working there? Slight.
Because she could have said like, oh, that's awesome. What do you mean? How do you get off work? Yeah.
How do you get off work? It was a little shade. And I'm like, she's like, do you even work there anymore? I'm like, no. Like, nah, I quit. Literally, it's been like 20 days since I quit. She has no idea. I was like, nah, I quit. She's like, oh. I'm like, yep. And she's like, well, what are you doing about health insurance? Blah, blah. And that was our conversation about that pretty much. And she goes, well, I heard you've been manifesting. And I'm like, what? I was like so confused. I'm like, my mind goes 100 places. I'm like manifesting my apartment. I was like, did she hear about me talking about Justin? Is it almost 30? I'm like, what is it? And she's like, yeah, you've been manifesting for me. And then I'm even more confused. I'm like, oh God, where's this going? And she's like, I met a guy and you manifested him. I'm like, oh my God, he has a boyfriend. But I had been praying. I had been praying that she would find a man or a person that she could love. And I've been praying that for my dad too. And my sister as well. And I've been really, really praying that they find someone they love. But yeah, she was very confused. And then at the end, what did she say at the end about the death?
She said,
what?
Well, something about like,
literally.
Well, I'm, you know what? I love what you're doing. Cause you know what? You might die tomorrow.
Yep. No, she goes, I love what she was. So she starts it out, and this is how she rolls. Starts it out with like an actual comment that makes sense. So she's like, I'm proud of you for what you're doing. It shows a lot of guts. And so, normal person would stop there. And me as a normal recipient of that would put my hand over my heart and say, thank you. And then, but Terry, as being a POW that she is, she goes, because you could die just like your cousin who just died. So my cousin just passed away very recently. And, he was so young and he just died. So you could have just be him. But, that's another story for a different day. Literally, my cousin just fucking died. I'm like, what? Oh my God. Yeah, Terry's just a PO dubs. But at least she knows that I quit. And it feels good. Hey guys, we're probably going to do an episode on me quitting my job, but it fucking feels amazing. Loved my job. Peace and love, blessings. But I actually haven't looked back at all since.
Yeah, of course you haven't.
You know what I mean? To feel, I was telling Lindsay, like we had an interview on Detox and Chill podcast. So with Megan and Becky, I'm actually wearing my Detox and Chill podcast hat.
So cute.
So cute. They are very sweet and amazing. And their interview was great. And one of the questions they were asking is that how do we get the energy to be on tour, to do these events back to back, to record the podcast, to run a business, to do, all of those things. And really, for me, I'm my complete self 24 hours a day. So before with working, when I was felt like I was lying about giving a shit about my job for 40 hours a week, it's exhausting and it's draining. But right now I'm able to go from podcasting to our business to events because I literally am no one but myself. It's exhausting to lie and it's exhausting to not be yourself.
Yeah.
And fake it.
Yeah,
Faking
totally.
it's so tiring. You know what I mean?
Totally.
One of the things that I really loved on the event, Alexandra Roxo, that she talked about was the belly breath.
Oh, yeah. So we've done this a lot in the work that we've done with Milana and with Alexandra, and just in yoga in general. But as women, we hold in our fucking lower belly because
so hard.
And you know what? Every woman has that lower belly. You know what I mean? And especially if you've had children, it's just this, it's a womb. It holds a human being. There's going to be weight and emotion there. And so we usually don't breathe into that space. And so much of why we've been able to move through some recent blocks, or at least for me, is because I've been able to one, do that type of breath work where it's first inhale to the belly, to the chest, and then a big exhale. And one, it gets you kind of high. Two,
it does.
It moves energy. So much of the emotion that we hold is in our lower belly. So I just think it's such a good way, and it doesn't cost any money. You don't have to go anywhere. You can literally wake up, sit up, and do this and move energy through your body. And I just love the idea of women loving that part of their body. Please give me permission to do that too, no matter what size you are. You know what I mean?
Creative womb. It's where creativity is.
I completely agree.
It was, yeah. I mean, for us during our event with Alexandra Roxo, she had us breathe into our belly breath. And it was so hard for me to have my hand over my stomach. And it took like 20 seconds for me to let my belly go. I was like, I'm having a hard time right now with my hand over it. Because it's like, oh, hands on it, go in. So I almost had to like actually remove my hand from my belly and sort of let it go. But, try that. Like we are meant to breathe in our belly. And when I took vocal lessons or voice lessons, that was one of the biggest things was breathing from my belly.
That's a supported breath.
That's a supported breath.
If you're breathing in your chest, it's shallow and you cannot get enough oxygen. And oftentimes, if you just breathe from your chest, you can't finish a thought without running out of breath. So a lot of times singers...
You get stressed.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's... Yeah. And I believe if obviously that part of your body that's activating your root chakra and your sacral chakra. So it's just all connected. It's really interesting. Yeah. I just love that.
Yeah. That was really, really powerful. So I'm trying to incorporate that in every day, really just making.
And it's like the feminine,
my breath a priority.
I'm wondering like what it would be like to like embrace that, like, like naked with like a partner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I guess so often we just want to like look sexy, but I'm wondering if they like don't care and like that would be just as sexy. Does that make sense?
I feel like they'd look at me like I was a baby. Like a little round.
Like what?
Like because you have a round belly and you'd be like touching it.
Totally. But it's kind of cute. I don't know.
It could be cute.
It's like whatever.
It's real whatever.
I don't know.
It's really interesting how like if you were just laying there naked with like a belly, how, that's not sexy. But if you're like, quote unquote sexy.
But if you were like feeling yourself, maybe it would be.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Do you want to read a review?
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
I do want to read a review.
Yeah, go for it.
This was such a cute one. Highlight of my week. Krista and Lindsay are angels sent to brighten up my week. I look forward to each new episode and am so impressed with how vulnerable, honest, and engaging they are in their interviews. Having been lucky enough to get a ticket for the live event in SF, I can say that they are just as lovely and genuine in person as you would hope. Thank you, Ellen K, for bringing your unique style and sass to my life. From Laura in SF. Thanks, sweet honey. It's so true about our events. So true.
Thank you.
This one is a treat this week, and it is just me.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm actually really pumped to hear this, but we were at the Nicole Miller office headquarters in New York City. And we were lucky enough
to witness history.
Honestly, this office has been their office for 25 years.
Yeah.
And she has been running shit in fashion, for women's fashion for a long time. Men's fashion too, but women's like for a long time. And, we're just inspired by her. So we wanted to have Nicole Miller on the podcast.
Yeah. The amazing Nicole Miller. She has been an icon in the fashion industry. She opened her first shop on Madison Avenue in 1986. And since then, she has really taken the fashion world by storm, finding a way to combine the styles of her mother and father in her life and really create chic contemporary wear for women that they feel really, really, really good in. And, you can't think about the fashion industry in New York or fashion without thinking of Nicole Miller. And she's just cool. Like she was so down to earth. She's like so real. Kelly, who's amazing, they're on their team who's been working with us, and Caroline as well, both sweethearts and so good at what they do. They had the best things to say about Nicole. It
says everything.
Yeah. Yeah, truly.
You know what I mean? They didn't have to.
Yeah,
they didn't have to say that.
And they said she's real, and they said she's thoughtful, and they said that she is just, really grounded. Everyone had great stories to say about her at the office. So I had a lot of fun. I was really, really honored. I mean, if you would have told me in high school that I'd be talking to Nicole Miller, that I would have never believed you, or in the offices. So this was truly an honor, and she's such a great person. So we're excited to share, this Nicole Miller interview with you.
Yes. All right, guys. So join our secret Facebook group. As always, tell your friends. So many of you have joined the group. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
And it just makes us so happy. And share this episode or any other episode that resonates with you with your friends. You know, if you feel like they could use a little inspiration, a laugh, whatever, just share it with your friends. You know, it's a nice little gift in their day. And we will see you on tour. So we will be in Seattle soon, August 11th. We have our LA Female Founders event on August 8th. We're going to be in Portland, September 20th, Dallas, September 25th, Austin on September 27th, San Diego in October, and so many more. So stay tuned. Go to our website, almost30podcast.com/tour to get more information, to get your tickets. And you can shop NicoleMiller.com with the discount code almost30. Oh, drop it.
Drop it like it's hot. Go shopping, honey.
Nicole, what's the discount?
It's a discount amount for using the code almost30.
Great. Yeah. Love that.
So go to NicoleMiller.com.
I meant what's the code is what I meant.
Oh yeah, almost 30.
Almost 30.
And dude, her leatherware, it's so good. She always has an amazing leather piece, like a rocker piece.
Her statement pieces are so good.
So good.
Because she's like so free with her creativity that it produces this it hasn't been done before. So a lot of designers copy, do the
which is
whatever,
hard to do.
And she just creates, and it's
I know.
Awesome. All right, guys, enjoyed this episode. We will see you on the other side. This episode is brought to you by Poopery. This must be a dream. This brand I've been using for such a long time now. My mom gave it to me as an apartment gift when I moved in by myself, and she knew I was dating someone. Thanks, Mom. And she thought this would take away any fear I had around pooping around boys. Well, she was right. This gives you confidence to poop wherever you are. I would take it with you on the go. Make sure you have it in every bathroom. This is a blend of beautiful essential oils that creates a barrier on the surface of your toilet bowl water, trapping the odor under the surface. Does that make sense? So you spray it on before you go, 3 to 5 sprays, let's say, across the water surface. You just go number 2 as usual. And then the barrier just traps in the smell of the poo. It's the truth. We love this brand. If you haven't already, listen to our episode with founder Susie Batiz. She is such an expander for us. We love her so much. She's doing so much good in the world and is elevating a brand that is fueled by people who are super conscious. And this simple product has changed lives. They also have a new product out right now, which is the Assistant. It's the automatic toilet deodorizer. It automatically spritzes your toilet with the wave of your hand. How cool. Such a good idea. She's just bevy with good ideas. So visit poopery.com, POOPOURRI.com. You can use our code almost30 for 15% off. And just so you know, my favorite Poopery scent, get this, it's a special one. It's the Woo of Poo scent. So it has ginger, neroli, and magic. It's delicious. So let us know what your favorite scent is. You can also get the Shoopery for deodorizing. Can't say it. Deodorizing your shoes, which I use on the regular. Poopery.com. Use our code almost30 for 15% off your first order. This episode is also brought to you by Kopari Beauty. All right, I'm going to talk to you about the gateway products that got me addicted. Okay. The Kopari Lip Glossy is my number one. I put it on a few times a day to get moisturized and glossy as hell without it being sticky. That's hard to come by. It also tastes and smells delicious. Easily fits in any little purse, any little pocket. It's so cute. It's adorable. And also the coconut deodorant. So here's the thing. People get confused. They're like, wait, Krista said she liked Schmidt's. And you said, yep, we're different people and we like different things. Just so long as we are promoting brands that are safe for our listeners, damn, we are behind it. So I just want to say that I love the coconut deodorant. It goes on so smooth. It's in this cute little cylinder, and you like twist it up. It's aluminum free, glides on clear, never sticky. It's always awesome. It smells delicious. I just don't sweat it anymore. Get it? Okay, guys. You can try Kopari Beauty at koparibeauty.com. Use our code almost30 for 15% off. So that's koparibeauty.com, KOPARI beauty.com. Use our code almost30 for 15% off.
Nicole, so happy to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
It's been a long time coming. Kelly on your team, sweet angel. When she reached out to us, it was like one of those moments I was like, people like, like Kelly and, meeting you, it's like just such a moment. You're like, oh, like I'm touching people that are really doing cool things and really interesting and really special. You know what I mean? Like people like when Kelly reached out and we collaborated with Nicole Miller to do those pictures, I was like, oh, like they believe in us and they're so cool. It's just a very flattering moment. It's like a very grounding moment. I'm like, okay, like what we're doing is awesome. You know what I mean? And to wear your clothes at that shoot was like so amazing. This jacket, you should ask my boyfriend every single day. Is like the jacket again, because I wear it every second I get, and every second I wear it, I get so many compliments on it. They're
well, I don't think there's many in LA, so I think you probably have one of the very few in LA. I mean, maybe like only one or two, or maybe only one. So you're not going to see yourself coming and going.
I know. Where did you get the inspiration for this jacket?
Well, it was kind of funny. We did a mystical collection. Everything was about mysticism, and we were just, playing with tarot cards and things. And I don't know, we just decided to make an evil eye, and then we decided to make it beaded. And then it's really funny because it was just one. It was just like one on a piece of fabric. And we're thinking like, oh, well, let's make more of them. So then we made them like in every color. And first we made a gown. So we made like this gown. Yeah, I wore it last year to the CFDA Awards, and it was great. Everybody wanted it. Anyway, so we had these fabulous evil eyes, and we were just, well, let's make one more thing because that looks good. And let's make one more thing. And then we said, oh, let's make a leather jacket. And we made one, and then everybody was fighting over it. So
I like, this works.
Yeah.
And the skirt too. Lindsay shot in the tank top. I mean, yeah, the element of mysticism with the bead, with the leather is like so amazing. How do you so where did you find that sort of inspiration? Does your team bring tarot cards to you, or like where do you find inspiration like that to stay relevant?
Well, I've done a lot of collections based on New York, and I was just kind of intrigued with St. Mark's Place and its history, and then all those palm readers and the tarot card readers, and then the tattoo parlors and the piercing and everything. So I
used to get like really cheap massages around St. Mark's Place.
Well, we skipped the massages.
I was like, I don't want to know what's going on in the room next door.
We left that out. But anyway, so we just got into this whole St. Mark's thing, and that was the theme for our pre-fall collection. And then we showed it in the tattoo parlor, and we told all the editors they could get a tattoo or body piercing, on us. It was like free for the day. So I thought, oh, we'll do 2 or 3 or something like that. We did about 40 body piercings that day, and everywhere. I mean,
really?
Everywhere. It ran the gamut, ears, noses, other places. And
what did you get pierced?
I got another little piercing on my ear.
You did?
Yeah, about halfway through the day, I gave in. I said, well, I can't leave here without another piercing. So I have a little diamond stud in there. And then the tattoos, I mean, they went crazy. There was one girl who had this like huge wrap around her body tattoo. So they did, probably about 20 tattoos and like 40 to 50 body piercings. Like everybody wanted one or more things done to them. So it was a very popular event.
That's amazing. I love that, especially with all the events that we do. That is like unlike any I've ever heard. And it was in St. Mark's Place.
It was not far. We actually didn't have it on exactly St. Mark's Place, but it was like a block away.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so grateful that you're here and would love to, for our listeners and our girls, I know a little bit about your story and, your upbringing and your just kind of mixing the European with the American and how you keep it so cool and a little bit about your family. But I'd love to, bring it back for the people that don't know about your history and kind of talk about who you are, where you're from, how you got to be where you are today.
Oh, okay. Well, so I guess an important fact is my mother is French and she was from Paris and she was like a huge, fashionista in Paris. She was like stunning. I have like these incredible pictures of her and all these incredible clothes she had. And she was like a very chic person. And then she met my father who was American. And so she moved to the United States.
Where'd they meet?
They met in Paris. And so, he met her and then he moved back to court her and then they got married and she moved to the United States. So she was not quite prepared for like how provincial parts of the United States were. Like she was fine with New York, but somehow she ended up living a lot of states where she couldn't find good bread and good cheese and all those like good French things. And so anyway, so she was always very, fashion minded. So we always had French magazines from France coming to the house. So we always had Marie Claire. And I actually found some really old Marie Claire magazines that my mother had kept in the attic for all these years, which I just handed them over to Marie Claire America.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Anyway, it's unbelievable. They look, I found one that had Barbara Bach on the cover. That was pretty cool. That's kind of a treasure. Anyway, but magazines were so big. You know how magazines are so small these days? These magazines were like huge.
They keep getting smaller too. Keep getting delivered and they're like...
Well, especially Teen Vogue.
Yes. Yes, it's the Teen Vogue one. I'm like, why is this so tiny?
But it's cute. Anyway, so I grew up with all that fashion influence. And so I really wanted to go to design school. So I went to Rhode Island School of Design and studied fashion. I also studied in Paris for a year.
What was that like?
That was very different because schools in Paris were very old school, very traditional, very haute couture and doing everything by hand. And, it was very aesthetically minded. Everything had to be aesthetically perfect. Like every line had to be, like a beautiful curve. Whereas in the United States or at Rhode Island School of Design, everything was very conceptual. And I think, now everything is very, very conceptual design wise. But so I think the combination of the two is a great education.
Do you learn at fashion school? Do you learn about like the history of fashion or how do you I'm just trying to understand, like fashion is so creative and it's from my perspective, such a personal take on, culture and what's going on. So how do you learn about fashion and then also maintain your own vision for what you want your own collection to be?
Well, I mean, a lot of schools do teach you a lot of fashion history. So everybody has, all these books on, V&A or Balenciaga or Dior or, Charles James or Paul Poiret or, any of those, old designers. And I've, over the years, people interpret a lot from old vintage clothes. I mean, vintage clothes is a big source of inspiration. But, it's funny because like now vintage is like 20 years ago or the 80s, the 90s. I mean, that's like vintage now. Whereas people used to look much farther back. But I think people, everything gets recycled like 20 years later.
I know I'm like old enough now to notice that. I'm like, oh, this is like happening again. Like all the 80s style fashion and like small sunglasses and stuff like that. That's really in now, fanny packs. I'm like, oh, that was in when I was younger and it does recycle. Like,
I know. Whoever thought fanny packs were going to come back? And everybody's got a fanny pack this year.
Everyone's wearing them over their shoulders too. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know what's in there. So you went to fashion school and then, what happened? What happened after that?
Well, I went to New York and I worked for this designer who was really big in the 70s and his name was Clovis Ruffin. And it makes me sad because a lot of people don't remember him. And a lot of those like really very talented designers in the 70s are no longer around. And I mean, he was like the superhero. It was a great time to be around because that, all that, there was a lot of energy and everybody was going to clubs every night and dancing and it was just a very exciting time. Anyway, after I left there, I went off and worked. I designed raincoats for a while, which I absolutely loved because I've always been obsessed with raincoats. And
she's the raincoat girl.
So I had a few jobs here and there until I started my own business in the 80s.
Wow. And were you fearful, like as a female entrepreneur, designer? I mean, I can imagine that there's a lot of competition.
I don't think I ever thought about fear. I mean, I was just sort of busy working and getting things done. So I think you're just always like, working, trying to come up with a good idea or whatever. And the funny thing, there was a dress that launched my whole business. And it was this kind of blouson dress with hip smocking. And when I made it, it was like very avant-garde. And we never thought it would sell because it was, very like fashion forward. And it just took off and it started selling. And it was like selling like crazy. And by the end of the year, every company in America had copied my dress. And it's funny because it's gone full circle. These dresses are coming back now.
You're like, they're going to copy my dress again.
They're copying my dress again. And, I got to the point, I had to stop making it because I'd walk down the street and the knockoffs were like everywhere. So I was like, oh, I can't even make that dress anymore.
You're like, I hate this dress now.
and one of my girlfriends who was a designer also for a competitive company, she says, I'm the only person who's not going to make your dress, Nicole, because you're my friend, right? And after about a year and a half, she goes, I'm sorry, but I just had to make it because everybody else was making it. So I figured it didn't matter anymore.
What was the dress style?
It was a blouson. This blouson, very oversized blouson dress on hip smocking.
Okay.
And smocking is very popular now. I mean, there's a lot of companies doing smocking at the hip now. It's back. I'm back in a big way. But anyway.
Was it just viral? Like, did someone get photographed in it or what made it even?
Well, it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need a celebrity to launch a dress back then. And you didn't need, what would happen, your dress would like take off on its own because people liked it. And back then, there would be a style of the season. So everybody would be wearing the same thing. And I remember you just went anywhere and everybody would be wearing this dress. And I mean, nobody wants to look the same anymore.
True.
And I remember it reminds me of the year that Norma Kamali did like the sweatshirt dresses. It's like everybody in New York was wearing the sweatshirt dress. You couldn't walk down the street without seeing somebody in the sweatshirt dress. And, I guess eventually it's just like, all things grind to a halt.
Yeah.
But I think there's much more individualism now because everybody like sees trends. They like trends. They want to wear, but there's always like 100 trends going on. And before, trends used to come and they would go. And now they just don't go away anymore.
I think they seem like they're in and out faster though with social media a little bit. It's like, or just from my perspective, what I see, it's like I see a trend and then I'll see it for a certain period of time. And then it becomes so overdone that it kind of stops or it just like fades out from my perspective faster because so many people caught on and you see it so much in social media that you're like, I don't want to do that.
And then you're sick of it.
Yeah.
But then what happens? Before you know it, then it comes back. And this is what I feel about like the cold shoulder. Because we've been so inundated with the cold shoulders and it was like, oh my God, I cannot look at another cold shoulder.
I know.
And you give it another 6 months, it's going to be like just a staple product.
So true. Do you love a good like black cold shoulder? Just like a basic. Yeah, because I'm a blogger as well. I often see like the bloggers always, it's like once I see a few bloggers and then it's like, I remember when cold shoulder was like at the peak, I was like, I don't ever want to see a cold shoulder again. Because you would always see the post like OTS top, and you're like, got it.
But there's a little less of them around right now. Because there was like a restaurant in New York everybody used to make fun of. They would say, if you go to this restaurant, every girl in the restaurant will be in a cold shoulder top.
Really? It's like an Italian, like
no,
dim lighting?
Not
What's happening?
Not even. It was just a very popular restaurant.
So it's all the fashionistas.
Yeah. It was, stylish people. I mean, it was like an Upper East Side restaurant. But it was sort of not downtown hipster. But fashionable.
What do you think? What's in style right now? Not what do you think, but what is?
Oh, what besides sneakers?
Honey. Got my fresh kicks.
I know. I mean, there's like...
Everyone wears flats always now, or is that just LA?
It's really interesting. Well, I think it's great. So I think all the tall girls should wear flats, and then I'll still wear my heels.
Yeah, please do. I'm totally fine wearing heels for the rest of my life. I have so many heels in my closet, and I don't even know how to walk in them anymore. It's like the LA. I just never wear them.
I won't wear pumps.
Oh, yes.
I will not wear pumps.
Yes. I had a pump phase and never again. I don't know. I was in New York, I think. It was probably like 5 years ago when I was in New York. I was like, oh, I got to wear my Louboutins. And I wore them like in the meat packing and got them all like the bottoms all ruined. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Such a fraud.
Yeah, I got rid of all mine.
Yeah, same. I'm like, I actually probably going to sell them. Okay, so the blue dress like catapulted your career. And what does that mean?
Blouson dress.
That's how.
Well, I mean, we sold so many of them because we started the business on like $100,000, so which is like no money. So I was just kind of naive. We just thought, oh, we'll go into business and blah, blah, blah. But fortunately, we had this dress, which we sold thousands of, and it really launched the business.
You sold thousands of them in store or online, like at that time?
There was no online.
Yeah. It was just in store?
Yeah. They were, Neiman's and Bloomingdale's and Saks and, can't forget Bonwit Teller.
What is that?
You've never heard of Bonwit Teller. That was a big famous department store in New York. Yeah.
Bonwit Teller.
Yeah, it was on like 5th Avenue and 56th Street maybe.
Wow.
Around there. Mm-hmm.
And it's out of business.
Long gone.
Wow. And how did you get your clothes in those stores in the first place?
I don't know. We called up the buyers.
Really? You just pitched them?
Yeah. I mean, they came in, saw the line, and they bought the line.
Really? Is it hard? Isn't that hard? Like for someone to get their clothes in now, wouldn't that be hard?
I have to say, yeah. Well, I mean, the market is so much bigger for sure. And everybody has so much more attitude too. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, everybody has attitude. I mean, like, buyers have attitude and, fashion directors have attitude. Everybody's very attitude-y. So I'm sure, I'm sure if you cold called, a buyer and told her to come up and see your line, it might not be that easy these days.
Yeah, that's what I love fashion, but that's what would kind of turn me off is the attitude of people. Like, how do you deal with like the divas and the attitude that can be found in the fashion industry?
I mean, I guess I just don't deal with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to.
Just like don't engage.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody, your friends are your friends. And I'm sure I have some friends that probably other people would say they have an attitude, but they're my friends. So, so I guess everybody has their friends and.
Everyone's got a friend with attitude.
Right.
And then, okay, so we're in the stores, you've kind of really catapulted the business.
Right.
Was there ever a moment in your career where you were like, like a down moment where you're like, I don't know if this is going to work? Or was it just...
Oh, well, it was funny because one time we had bought too much fabric. This is kind of a funny story. We had bought way too much fabric and we didn't know what to do with it. So I was just, and some of the prints weren't that great either. And that's why they weren't selling or whatever. So I decided to pleat them because, you can hide a lot of sins by pleating fabric. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll just make something to go with it. So I made this like kind of chunky sweater and I put it together as a set. And that was another big score. So, and we had to go buy more fabric. So we chewed up all the fabric. that we were trying to get rid of, and sold like crazy. And we made these chunky. It was a really cute sweater. It was like just a large gauge kind of cotton T-shirt sort of thing, but it was a sweater with a pleated skirt. And that was a big score.
That's so funny. So you're like, this isn't working. I need to figure out a way to make it work. Put in pleats, added the sweater, and then you needed to buy more because it was so popular.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
that was fun.
Yeah. That's amazing. And then
but you know what really made me mad is
so anyway, this is what we want.
It was like a spring item, and it was like great, and it sold like crazy, whatever. So I go, okay, for winter, I'm going to make it like with an Angora sweater. I'm going to do the Angora version. I'm going to do like the fall version of it, whatever. And nobody liked it as much. I mean, it sold a little, but it wasn't like the big hit. So I was like really disappointed. I was like, why don't they like my Angora sweater? So cute.
Yeah. Do you take things personally? Like with sales, like, are you like, oh, does it make sense to you all the time?
No. And it's really weird because sometimes somebody will say something doesn't fits me perfectly. And sometimes somebody says this is a great fit and I put it on me, it doesn't fit me. So anyway, better to make everything with lots of Lycra in it.
I was going to say, just make it stretchy, honey. We just need some stretch.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Hum Nutrition. It's what's helping me every single day feel good from the inside out. When you take care of your insides, you see it on the outside, and Hum Nutrition helps you do so. We are so proud to have them as a sponsor from the get-go, and I'm really excited to celebrate their newest product, the Collagen Pop. It's dissolvable collagen and a vitamin C boost for firm and hydrated skin. It improves the elasticity of your skin. It boosts collagen levels and locks in skin moisture. And it upgrades your water into a rose and lemon beauty tonic. It's bubbly. It's delicious. Oftentimes, drinks that have collagen in it don't taste good because collagen honestly doesn't taste good. This tastes good. So it's these little tablets. They dissolve in your water. They bubble. It's great. I love to just pop it in the morning or sometimes midday. It totally makes a difference. Collagen is the secret sauce. I'm telling you, ladies, if your skin is a little, lifeless, or you are worried about elasticity and wrinkles and all of that, give collagen a try. We are true believers. HumNutrition.com. You can use our code almost30nation for 15% off your first order. And when it comes to your supplements, you just take a brief quiz and a certified nutritionist will suggest 3 to 5 various vitamins to implement into your routine. You can ask them any questions at any time. They're so helpful. We love them. HumNutrition.com. Use our code almost30nation. This episode is also brought to you by Silver Fern brand. So our group has been popping off, telling us how much they love Silver Fern. It's helped with their gut health, their energy, and it's one of their new favorite protein mixes. So what I'm loving from Silver Fern right now, as always, is their Endurance Energy Drink Mix in raspberry lemonade. So good. It has K27, D-ribose, and alpha GPC. So it elevates your body's ability to have increased energy capacity and generates more energy for a longer period of time. So what I'm finding is that this is the only quote unquote pre-workout that doesn't give me the crazies. I feel like it's this steady build and this prolonged feeling of, oh, I feel energetic, like I'm in a good mood. Not that I'm not always, but I mean, you know what I mean? It just kind of gives you that extra, and it's gluten-free. So I love that product. I also love their digestive enzymes. I'll say it. I mean, it really does help. You take it before a meal. It helps you digest your food. Anything with gut health, I'm really about. I mean, your gut is your second brain. So it's really important that we are taking care of our gut. So probiotics, digestive enzymes, and their new protein powder has probiotics in it. So it's an organic protein, plant-based. It's delicious. It's in rich chocolate flavor, which we love. And it allows you to get maximum absorption because you need help digesting the protein. So it really gives you comfort as you digest. We love this brand, silverfernbrand.com. And you can use our code almost30 for 15% off your order.
Where did you meet your husband?
Oh, it was so funny. We were just talking about that. Kind of at a wedding. It was at a party before a wedding. Like, it was actually, they had in-house showers are always girls or boys. This was a girl and boy shower. We gave the couple sports gifts because they were very sporty and athletic. And I had made the bride's gown. And I'd made all the bridesmaids' dresses. So, and I met my husband at this party.
Well, you did. And was it like love at first sight?
No, we didn't really like each other.
It was not love at first sight.
No, we were just like friends.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You have friends, and then you
and we're still together all these years later.
Really? How many years?
Well, that was 1989 when we met.
Wow. And you have a son?
He was 22.
How do you balance, everything that you do with being a mom and being, a wife?
I never found that to be a problem. But I guess it depends on your job. Because I regret not taking more time off my job. But certainly since I'm the boss and it's my company, I can sort of call my own hours. So in retrospect, I wish I'd sort of taken more time off or always taken Fridays off or something. But I didn't. But the thing is, I was always managing. I always managed to manage everything quite easily. And, I had a babysitter would come during the day. And then before you know it, they're in preschool. So.
And what is he doing, your son?
Graduating.
From?
Trinity College.
Cool. That is so cool.
Does
he like his mom?
Does he like his mom? Or is he like my mom?
Is he like his mom?
I hope he likes me.
He loves his mom.
I don't know. He's a mix of both of us.
Yeah.
He does have my hair, though.
Aw. That looks just like you. For any women, that are entrepreneurs that are looking to start a business, want to run their own business, what sort of advice would you give to them?
Well, I have to say, things have really changed. And I say I'm so impressed by these women out there today because they're such go-getters between these influencers and, people are making careers out of things that weren't careers before. They're creating their own careers. They're creating their own ideas for businesses. All these girls in the beauty industry and the YouTubers and the fashion influencers and everything and the bloggers, it's amazing. And I don't know what kind of advice I can give them. I'm looking for advice from them.
Why do you say that? Why are you looking for advice from them?
No, because they are so on it at such a young age. And I think that, when I started my business, I went through this very traditional route. I went to design school. I went and applied for jobs and I was working my way up and blah, blah, blah. And I think all these women today have such a vision of that the world is open and they can create their own thing. And I think this is just phenomenal. And they're not looking to just go, be somebody's assistant and work up the corporate ladder or design ladder or any ladder. They're going to create their own space and their own identity and their own business and their own world. And I think a lot of opportunities have presented themselves with all this social media, and all these tools we have today, we didn't have back then. There was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, there was, none of that stuff. So I think all this has just created a whole new world. But, all I can say to these women is just, stick to your guns, be focused, have your own idea, try to be original, try not to steal somebody else's idea and try to create your own identity in all this.
I love that. Yeah, it is so, social media has its negative parts, but overall, it has created jobs for a lot of people, to allow them to be creative and to allow them to be expressing themselves on a daily basis and getting paid for it. I hear girls all the time, especially in the influencer space, they're like, oh, the algorithm, everything about the algorithm. But without Instagram as a platform or YouTube as a platform, people wouldn't have a career, these careers that they've made it, that they've self-made.
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible. Me being one of them. What is your self-care routine? Like how do you take care of yourself? How do you like make sure that you show up every day for your office?
No, I always wake up early.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not a big sleeper. I have rarely overslept. I overslept once when I came back from California. I forgot to change my watch. So.
But you're like, wait, I'm the boss. Don't care.
Still thought I was in California time. But, I go to spin class and, when I go to Pilates sometimes and, I do a lot of stuff, but also like I water ski, wakeboard, snow ski. I mean, I do a lot of stuff, kiteboard, do a lot of different things. So I'm pretty active.
I love that. Where do you wakeboard?
In the Hamptons.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, because you live in Sag Harbor.
Right.
Part-time.
Right,
Do you go every weekend or?
Every weekend.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
go a lot.
How do you get out of the city? Like, do you drive or train?
You just like go through traffic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, what is the traffic like to do that?
Well, but sometimes on a Friday night, I'll take a seaplane and now we have Blade.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of ways to get to the Hamptons now. There's, there's like about 3 different companies that will fly you to the Hamptons. But we usually drive. Mostly we drive on a Friday night and we sort of have it timed. Leave at a certain time. The traffic's not so bad.
I love that. And what is your collection? What's your upcoming collection? Like what's upcoming for you?
Well, the next collection is Resort. So it's got a little abstract art in it, a little 80s in it. I don't know. It's still a work in process, but I better hurry. I've only got about a month to do it.
And what's like, do you sketch and then send your sketches or how do you like create a collection?
Well, the first thing I do is get the prints in place because the prints have to go first. And I feel everything just works around the prints. I kind of think it's easier when you're just doing solids, but I don't know. Print's been very strong for a lot of years. When it's interesting, earlier, I just remember like probably, I guess in the 80s, like prints were just out. There was a period of time it wasn't cool. It was just always, solids and prints were not cool. But now prints are really cool.
I feel like I just wear all black, so I just wear it in this jacket, so I don't really even know what's cool anymore. Like, where do you find
I like stripes too. I've always liked stripes.
Yeah, because you're so little. Stripes look good on you.
Stripes look good on everybody.
I don't even know about that, Nicole. I don't even know if I believe that. And I also was looking at some of the environmental causes that you're into.
Oh yeah, I'd
love to hear about those.
Well, I've been involved with Riverkeeper, Riverkeeper and Waterkeeper, and they're all based on cleaning up the river. All the
Hudson.
Well, one is a national organization, and that's even I think it expands to international too. And then one is local, which is just New York State. And then I've been involved with Rocky Mountain Institute, which is like an ecological think tank. So we've been involved in a lot of those things. And then I've been involved with a lot of like health things like juvenile diabetes and things like that around locally and in various cities as well. When we had a lot of retail, and we have gotten out of most of our retail for a variety of different reasons, but we got very involved in like the charities around the country. So like if we had a store in Chicago, we would be involved in like the Chicago charities, and Philadelphia, where we still have stores. So we're very involved in all that at a local level.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you have your retail managers kind of figure out a charity, or how do you really find those?
Well, yeah. We let the local managers, find out what's, most important in their community.
And then you empower them to connect with them.
Absolutely. And, then I'll go to that city for an event, whatever.
Cool. And then I saw an American Express YouTube of you and I thought it was really cool about the office. And it seems like a really cool vibe that you have. It seems really open and really welcoming. And I loved when you talked about some of the employees that you had, maybe have left and come back, and you just have like a really family type feel. Can you talk about, the workplace of your office and what that's like?
Well, one of the things everybody loves about the office is we have a chef there that makes lunch a couple times a week.
Oh, that's all I need.
So that's always like a big selling point. Everybody likes that. And everybody likes to congregate in the kitchen and see what Beverly's making for lunch. And she's Jamaican. So a lot of times she's making something Jamaican. But
cool.
But she does a lot of things. So that's really important. But, it's a very like open door office, and we have like a lot of company meetings, and everybody interacts like pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, it's like kind of a big family, and we always have a company party at Christmas time that everybody really gets into. And so we always do, we always try to do nice things for the employees too.
Like what?
Well, we had a big anniversary dinner at Indochine. We rented out Indochine for the whole company one time, and that was great. And everybody gets a clothing allowance, which
Yes.
everybody
Enough.
Everybody
Feed and
likes
clothe
that,
me.
and everybody gets. A lot of people get to travel,
Oh, that's so cool.
such as these girls here.
I know, these lovely ladies. We love them. They are such gems. Just the last question. This is kind of off topic, but have you ever just, I guess being in fashion, have you ever just not been like backstabbed, but like someone stole like your designs? Like that doesn't bother you when someone steals your designs and stuff?
Well, the thing is, I guess if it's an older design, it doesn't really matter. But there was a company that, like, one of my top selling blouses from, way back, probably the 80s. And this girl went into business and she made her whole name on my old blouse. And like and she said how she liked to get inspired by things in thrift shops. So I don't even know if she knew it was my blouse, but this blouse is in the thrift shops a lot, but it was exactly my blouse. And she ran with it for a few years. I don't think she's in business anymore because it was like a one-trick pony.
Yeah, like can you like do cease and desist, or like could you sue them?
No, there's no copyright in clothing.
Really?
And the thing is, I have to say, I don't feel that protective about it because I have seen people have my idea like at the same time. And, and I've seen like major designers have a dress out that's exactly my dress. And I doubt that they saw my dress. Or, it's just too coincidental that we come out with a very similar dress at the same time. So, what am I going to do? Tell somebody, oh, you copied my dress? And they're like, no, I never saw your dress or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would probably see my dress and think I copied their dress,
like,
but I didn't.
Copied my dress.
But there's a lot of overlapping in design, and there's a lot of stuff that's been around forever. And, there's just very similar. And then a lot of times people take stuff that's historical or that's just out in the public domain. And just because one person did it first doesn't mean they own it. So I'm not as proprietary about stuff, but, clearly if it's an identical design, it's like inappropriate.
Because that's like fast fashion brands copy.
Well, I was really flattered when they copied a dress of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was kind of funny.
They're cute.
Well, the thing is, I still make the dress. They stopped making it. They made it for about like 3 months.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And, they sort of did it totally a different way, a cheaper way, whatever. I thought it was funny.
How'd you see it?
One of my girlfriends had bought it. I was like, where'd you get my dress? And she goes, oh, I got this at Forever 21 or I don't, I think it was Forever 21, whatever. So I didn't care.
That is so cool.
People sue over the most ridiculous stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that Forever 21 and all those brands have like lawsuits constantly.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine sometimes they're valid, but still, really, it's just, and who knows, maybe they both saw the same vintage thing. There's this popular picture of Twiggy from the 60s, and everybody has copied that top. I've seen that top on so many people's lines. And then there's another dress that I think was a Charles James thing, and it's a certain kind of pleat up the center. Like everybody's done that one. So that a lot of times I see things and I know exactly where they got it. And then, V&A, there's like a dress in her book, like the V&A book. Everybody's copied that dress. And like major people.
That's so funny.
So I think people sometimes, they don't remember where they got their actual inspiration from. And what gets me, it's like, I feel like all the fashion editors should look at all these books because all the designers have all these books. And there's this one book, it's a very old book from the 60s. It's called like Funk and Fashion, something like that. They copied like this thing from this designer, Kaizek Wong, who was a 60s guy in California who designed this crazy jacket. And we had it. We were just like laughing about the whole thing. But it took them about it was like 8 months before the New York Times finally busted on them on finding that. But, designers have all these books on their shelves.
So yes.
We all have the same books.
You don't need to go far. And just another thing, a thing that, Kelly was pivotal too, but I love that you guys are embracing social media so much, and you're embracing like the influencer blogger. You're just embracing the girl of this generation and the cool girl. Can you talk about like social media and your brand? And
well, I think it's like just so fun is what I like about it. It's so fun, and it's like so exciting. And, we had like this great picture on Sunday with the 3 girls walking down the street. I don't know if you saw it. That was like, everybody got a great reaction. It was like 3 girls looking like they were having a great time. And, it's been great meeting a lot of all these influencers. They're like, so like I was talking about these girls being such go-getters. It's just so interesting to meet them and talk to them. So I've been really happy to have like a lot of, events and interaction with them.
And I think that there's a misconception too of like what influencing and blogging is, or being an influencer and blogging is. I think, if some of the girls are the hardest hustlers that I've ever met. I think that you could do it and really, really put a lot of work into it and be really strategic and be really business minded. Some of these women have built multi-million-dollar businesses from, nothing, just like using the platform, which is incredible. What are you excited about this year? What are you looking forward to for Nicole Miller?
Well, first of all, the next thing coming up is the resort show. The CFDA awards are coming up. And then I'm going to do Tahiti Fashion Week in Tahiti.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
And so resort wear is going to Tahiti?
No.
Or
Spring.
Okay. And when do you go?
In June.
Okay. That'll be amazing. So excited for you. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for talking to the Almost 30 girls. They love my jacket. I know that because I talk to about it all the time. But you are such an inspiration. I love that you are so welcoming of all women. I love that you are so dedicated. You are such a badass. So we are so thankful that you could talk to us today. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks. I like being called a badass.
You are a badass. Look at your jacket. Like you're just... And you just like don't know bullshit. Like you just are like unfazed. And it's really cool. And that's how, part of the reason probably why you're so successful, because you just have your eye focused on what it is that you're here to do. And you kind of don't let anything else sort of like get in the way. It's cool. We love your clothes.
Thanks.
Kiki, do you love me? Yankee, we learned to dance and we did it at Spring. So we were in New York at Spring headquarters, which is a website that we used to shop basically every one of our looks on tour we got from Spring. They have brands like Free People, Urban Outfitters, Alexander Wang, Gucci. So they have high and low end, and you can always find a good deal on there. But anyways, so we were there at the Spring offices and we learned that dance. What's it called? The Chiggy?
I don't really know. It's the Drake song In My Feelings, but like
we're really good at it.
People are calling it like something completely different than what I thought it would be called.
I know, me too.
Anyway,
anywho, enough about my dancing.
So lucky to talk to Nicole Miller and learn from a female entrepreneur that has been doing this since before female entrepreneurs were cool. And we're just so lucky. So thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you so much to her team. And if you haven't already, join the secret Facebook group. As always, we will see you on tour. We are loving the tour life. We're getting good at it. We're getting good at living that tour life. So we can't wait to meet you all. Visit our website, almost30podcast.com/tour to get your tickets. Tell your friends. And we're adding stops as we go.
Yes. Can't wait to see you on tour. I love you.
Love you. Bye.